Hello, everyone. Looks like we're live. Emmy, congratulations. You are first. Yes, I am cold. Let's see. Start off with some Hamza videos.
You know what actually happened? So this is something that not a lot of guys speak about, but this is what Alex Mosley said happened to him, and it happened to me. I hit the ultimate dream for a lot of guys. I hit 10K a month, 20K a month, 25K a month, and it was passive. I needed to work about 2 to 3 hours a week to make that, right? Imagine this. Imagine you're working for about 12 hours a month and you're making 25K a month from that, right? Passive. Oh my God, amazing. Passive income. That shit, right? Amazing. Top 5 passive income, right? Amazing, right? Guess what? It was fucking depressing. Because as a guy, we're supposed to work. And so I was trying to be productive.
You can literally...
Would you say this is accurate?
Let me see, Dutchie.
If your pee looks like this, where it's clear and see-through, you are likely overhydrating and you might be peeing out some electrolytes, so you want to scale back how much water you're drinking. But if your pee looks like this and it looks like apple juice and it's kind of dark...
No, you don't just lose electrolytes from drinking water and peeing. That's not how that works.
Then you're likely dehydrated and you better start drinking some more water. And if your pee looks like this and it has a hint of yellow, but it's not perfectly see-through and it's not too dark, you are likely perfectly hydrated and you're getting enough electrolytes as well, so keep on doing what you're doing.
There's no such thing as overhydrating, assuming you're not going to give yourself hypernatremia. Thanks for the donation, Dutchie. So, back to the stupid fucking claim. Oh my God.
React to this, it's unbelievable.
Fucking... Ugh. Let me see, Dodo.
Now I want to move on to something else that's been transpiring in the United States in various big cities, because I just don't understand why anyone would feel the need to do this. I don't understand the lack of humanity. It has to do with posters that you may have come across featuring some of the hostages who were kidnapped by Hamas terrorists on October 7th. So let's give you the details on that. So on college campuses and cities around the world, people keep getting caught basically ripping these posters down. And again, they feature information about the civilians who were captured by and are now used as hostages by Hamas. In the weeks since the war in the Middle East, the kidnapped posters created by an Israeli street artist have been spread in public spaces across the US, Europe, and beyond. And they're available to anyone online. So if you want to help share information or spread information about these hostages, you can easily print them out and post them in your own neighborhood. But apparently that upsets some people. Apparently sharing information about innocent civilians who were kidnapped by terrorists upsets some people. And so they get caught tearing the posters down. And I find that despicable. Here are just two examples of what the—
Ew, gross, baby. Yeah, those people are pieces of shit. What's hilarious is there have been some people who've been trying to fight back against those assholes tearing down those posters by putting razor blades behind the posters so that when people try to tear them down, they slice their fingers open. And they deserve it. Honestly, those fuckers should be shot.
The posters look like, and I think these examples are really important. Imagine seeing that and feeling the need to tear it down. Have been caught either ripping them down or covering them up. I want to show you a few examples.
Are you from Hunter? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. No. Don't worry about it. Okay, you will be all over the news. Don't worry about it. All over the news. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Why are you tearing them down? Innocent people were kidnapped.
People killed the hospital, but outside to every single firm. Say your name. Look what they're doing. They're doing over these houses signs. The children are dying in Israel. Look what they're doing.
Why is she taking the pictures off? Does she work?
Dude, the amount of fucking hatred against Jews is just fucking crazy. It's just sickening. I fucking hate those people. And I hope these fuckers start getting shot in the street for tearing these posters down. If they start getting shot, let's see how many fucking assholes have the guts to fucking keep taking them down.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think we can, or I think I would. Like, him doing it unilaterally might be shitty.
You know what, I take back what I said about Hamas supporters. Not even busts should be eating this junk food, instead they're worm food.
I don't know, man. I feel like worms deserve better fucking food than that. How about we just launch them into the sun? Thanks for that, Nation Dodo.
Elon is talking a big game, a big stupid game. 220. Did you see Wayne Shawn got convicted for 3/4 crimes he was on trial for?
Really? Let me take a look at this.
I could be going to prison tomorrow, and I'm totally okay with that. And here's why. We just got back from court and found out that the jury has reached a unanimous decision on one of the 4 criminal charges against me, and they're split on the other 3. That means as early as tomorrow, I could be going to jail for organizing others and trying to take sick and injured animals to the vet. That's all I did. And while...
Whoa. Dude, what kind of fucking jury did they form where they could actually find Wayne guilty on anything? That's crazy.
we might be outraged by the absurdity of that outcome. We might be horrified by the abuse of animals that continues to unfold in factory farms, and those are all legitimate responses. Part of what we also need to do is gladly bear what's called unearned suffering. Recognize that part of the way we create social change is putting our money where our mouth is and bearing the risk and even the punishment of an abusive system to show and to the entire world the absurdity of this entire system. And this is what activists have done for the last 100 years in the United States. When Susan B. Anthony pointed out the absurdity of a system that gave men the right to vote but denied women the right to vote and went ahead and voted anyways, she wanted to go to jail to showcase the fact that she meant what she said when she said, I believe I have the right to vote. When Martin Luther King Jr. believed that people of color should be able to sit on the same bus seat as a white person, he went to places like Albany, Georgia, and Birmingham, Alabama, and gladly went to jail. In fact, wrote a famous letter from jail to show that he meant what he was saying when he said, we have the right to sit in the same seats as you do. And if we as animal rights activists believe that chickens and cows and pigs deserve the same dignity and compassion and love as a dog or a cat or even a human being, then we have to be willing to bear that same sacrifice. And in fact, that's part of the narrative of change, that when people come after us for merely standing out for the rights of creatures who are desperate for some sort of aid, some sort of help, some sort of rescue, that we're willing to bear that sacrifice ourselves. Okay.
I'm surprised that they got him on anything. Like, that Who the fuck are these jurors? Like, are they farmers? Do they have some like crazy fucking whack job bias against them? That is super fucking sus, dude. That sounds like a corrupt jury. And Elon is talking a big game. Let me see.
Who's here?
Now, how much time?
I'm way bigger than him. This is unfair.
I know you.
I don't think you should fight me
because you're so much bigger than him.
Yeah, I'm like 50% heavier than him.
Yeah.
I'll just use I've got my patented walrus move. I just lie on him.
Walrus move?
Like walrus doesn't need martial arts training.
Right.
Because it's really big. You don't want to go wrestling a walrus.
Dude, Elon is gonna get fucked up if he fights Mark Zuckerberg.
Walrus. If a horse falls on you, you can get trapped under a horse.
Right, but you're not a horse.
Listen, there's just a reason they have weight categories. There's a friend of mine who...
Dude, you're at a higher weight category because you're fatter, not because you're like actually more muscular or anything.
Who is pretty good at fighting, but she weighs about half of what I do. And I said, let me show you why there's weight categories in fighting. And I'm going to do a move called the walrus, and you have to I'm just going to lie on you. I'm not going to put you in a lock or anything. I'm just going to lie on you. But I'm going to position myself such that it's hard to get out from under me. And I'm going to lie crossways on you, and you try to get away, and you won't be able to get away. Because you couldn't. If a horse falls on you, you can get trapped under a horse.
Right, but you're not.
Yeah, that is absolute bullshit. He's just chickening out.
If a horse falls, get yourself out.
But you're often.
Okay.
When you get elite competitors, like elite black belts at the 145, 155 pound weight limit, you'd be shocked.
You'll be shocked too if you calculated the yearly cost of your PPV and cable bill.
There's a ton of videos of these guys who will strangle much larger black belts. Individual. This guy is another super genius who trains every day, 12 hours a day. And he is competing against a black belt in the heavyweight division. Mikey Musumeci might weigh 145 pounds, and he beats this guy.
Guy doesn't look to be in super great shape.
He's enormous.
Yeah.
He's enormous, and he's a black belt, so he's skilled. I forget how Mikey wins this. He catches him at some, so he won by points?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure
so he won by points.
I think you're making the point for me here.
Yeah, in that case. But that guy's strangled a lot of much larger people than him. But again, he's extraordinary. He's a world champ. Yeah. We could fight. I like the fact.
Dude, why the hell is Joe Rogan even like having Musk on at this point? He is just such a joke. Like he's like, okay, so he basically tried to fuck over the Ukrainian military and support Russia. The guy's a fascist. He's also trying to support Hamas by giving them internet access. Like the guy is just an absolute fucking menace, and Joe Rogan still has him on. Oh, fuck. All right, well, why don't we watch the Nutrivore Shawn Baker debate, or listen to it, I should say.
All right, guys. Well, welcome. We have a discussion / debate. We've got James, Aspey, and Nick. And correct me if I pronounce it wrong. Hebert, I think that's how you say it. But if I said it wrong, okay, good. I got it right. If you guys just take a minute or two, just to introduce yourselves. Maybe start with James, and then Nick, and then we'll just get going.
Yeah, I'm James. I've been a passionate vegan for 10 years, and
Actually, I can download this. If I download it, I can adjust the audio. I'm 235. That's how much I weigh.
Watch this. The dude in this vid is retarded.
Hey, everybody.
What he deserves.
Let me see.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Blake Backard, and today I'm gonna be cooking one of my favorite meals, a New York strip steak right here. I just wanna add a quick topping to it. You know, get a little spice, a little pizzazz in there. Maybe they got some seasoning back there for me. Oh yeah, that nice sizzle. That's what you want to see when you do this. Oh, we're just getting some toppings for the pizza.
You can't cook it here, man.
No, it's just 100% pure Angus beef.
You have to remove it.
Oh, flip it over, you think?
No, you have to take this out. You can put the stuff here, man.
Can we cook it in the back?
Take the stuff out, man.
Oh.
You can put the stuff here, man.
I was just trying to get some toppings.
No, doesn't matter. You can't cook it here, man. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, my bad. You want a piece?
No. Take the shit out here, man.
Are you sure you don't want a piece? You're good? Medium rare?
You think I'm joking with you, man?
No, no jokes.
I'm
serious.
Shit, man. It's a vegan place, man. We're not here animal.
Oh.
You're fucking murder, man.
I'll cook it a little deeper next time.
You're a fucking disgusting human being, yo.
Oh,
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, yes, sir.
You piece of shit.
Okay.
Fuck you.
Great.
Recently, I had a debate with Shawn Baker for his podcast and that episode on Hitter, and I absolutely 100%
increasing your chances of leading a.
Good, I got it. Got James.
I commonly try to advocate for a vegan lifestyle because I believe that it is an ethical lifestyle, the ethical lifestyle. I believe it leads to a lot less suffering, death, and rights violations, which I think is extremely important. And I believe it is perfectly adequate to lead to a long, healthy life, likely increasing your chances of leading.
I'm over 300 pounds and have BJJ for 5 years. Weight does matter, but strength matters more. If you're fat and not strong, it can actually make you worse.
Well, yeah, you can't, like, do certain things, like sprawl. It makes it harder to, like, move around quickly, can reduce mobility, and again, you're not stronger than somebody else, so it's just dead weight. Thanks for the donation, though, Wizardly Rhino.
A healthier life and increasing your chances of living longer, having less diseases. They're the main reason. Like, the main reason why I'm vegan is for the animals, because I think it is unethical to breed animals into existence and holocaust them for ingredients or for nutrients that we can get elsewhere. So since I became aware of that, I've been passionately speaking about it online, doing different actions, things like that over the years. And today I am grateful for you having us on your podcast, Shawn. I'll be totally honest with you and say that what I've seen of yours online, it's confusing to me. And I'm very open to hearing you out today and hearing why we have such a differing of opinion about what is ethical and, the correct diet to.
They are making a new Planet of the Apes movie. Here is the trailer.
The new Planet of the Apes movies are terrible.
I see everything.
That is not everything.
That vegan restaurant owner is so based, man. If I were him, I would have taken that portable stove out the socket and the steak he was grilling and throw it in the garbage can, then spit in there and say, "Eat that shit now, bitch, hardy ha ha," like Mr. Krabs.
I would have preferred to take that grill and fucking grill his face. But thanks for the donation, Vegan Buffalo Soldier. Appreciate it.
What a wonderful day!
Turkey Tom weighs in on the Gideon situation. I personally think Gideon was one of the better prank channels. Have you ever seen any of his shit? Some of it actually pretty funny.
It's always interesting to see a creator quit, especially a creator who's at the top
Yeah, some of Gideon's stuff is interesting.
of their game. Usually when people quit, it's
Like
when they're on
funny.
the biggest prank channel on YouTube right now. If you go to his, obviously coming from God, symbol about decided to completely stop that in exchange for God. Gideon's apparently giving up his entire YouTube career to become a Christian YouTuber on the channel Gideon, with the capital G, obviously coming from God, symbolizing the fact that he wants to put God first. Now, I'm not a Christian. I'd probably call myself an atheist.
I don't know how being Christian is like diametrically opposed to having a prank channel, but okay.
Or agnostic, but I always do find it noble when somebody decides to, you know, give up kind of worldly possessions and pleasures and desires in exchange for wanting to do something for a greater good, you know, a community in this case.
Well, he's not really talking about a greater good. He's just talking about a stupid imaginary friend.
He's doing it.
Being in the news for something like
whatever. Who cares?
be
dude?
right.
Thanks for that donation, niggas in Paris. Kid Boo donated $2.
A woman's brain is divided into two. A woman's brain. A woman's. A woman's brain is divided into two sides. A woman's brain is divided into two sides, where we have the left side and the right side. On the left side of a woman's brain, there is nothing right. And on the right side of a woman's brain, there is nothing left.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Kid Boo. Appreciate the donation.
Advocate for, because yours is the total opposite of mine. And there's obviously a massive disagreement there. So I would also say, to be honest with you, just to put it out on the table and why I kind of singled you out, you know, when I was trying to.
Yo fam, let's kick it for a minute witness this funky lyricist get up in it, slaying the beat like I was wicked, but I take no delay, slaying the beast like a wizard who's lethal spit in ether. Nice to meet ya. Feel free to breathe in this reefer and relax as I.
Sick rhymes. Thanks for the donation, Wyatt.
You seem very depressed. Hope you get your dose adjusted and feel better.
Yeah, I am pretty fucking depressed, alright. I had an appointment with my doctor today. Basically, she's gonna refer me to a psychiatric clinic. And I'm gonna see like a specialist and we'll go from there. I don't know how long that's gonna take though. We also adjusted the meds I'm on a little bit. I'm increasing the antipsychotic dose by another 2 milligrams, and there's some other antipsychotic being added. Mainly for sleep, for use as a sleep aid.
Nigga, that was funny as fuck. You have no sense of humor, no wonder you're so depressed all the time, bitch ass nigga. Get out of your basement and go get some sunshine with your half-breed melanated ass.
I mean, it was a good joke. I'm probably a little too depressed right now to laugh at anything, but thanks for the donation, Kid Boo. And thanks for the donation, Farce. Dodo donate tellers, why are you wearing a Ushanka? Also, it's because I'm cold.
This is not going to help us in the long run.
Well, did he call it the Webb telescope? Isn't it the Hubble?
Yes.
Was he thinking of Webb Hubble? I don't understand.
Who knows? But look, his performance today, Laura, was so unsteady.
Man.
Even Kamala Harris couldn't keep a straight face. Like
So, they don't know much about astronomy, I suppose.
The pagan Arabs, what was their response? They thought he was crazy, but they said, how can a crazy man come out with this? And they said, he's an illiterate man. This is not random mumbo jumbo. This is legislation. You know what I'm saying? So they first made the accusation, and then they realized that, no, it can't be crazy to do this. What was their conclusion? It's magic. It's sorcery.
Prophet Muhammad is not illiterate.
So there was something so profound in the Arabic language of the Quran that the pagan Arabs and the pagan poets who knew Arabic said this is beyond anything we know. So now we can come down to liar, because I'm telling you, no one
Where did he get the idea that the Prophet Muhammad was illiterate? He was not illiterate.
makes this claim he was crazy. His enemies didn't make this claim because when they heard the Quran, the people who understood the Quran, they understood the Arabic, they knew this is not a crazy guy coming out with this. So I'm telling you, don't ever make that claim again that he was crazy. The pagan.
Or am I just crazy? I swear he wasn't fucking illiterate. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Did he get somebody else to ghostwrite for him?
Arabs.
Pretty sure he was illiterate. After the White House compares U.S. citizens protesting for a ceasefire in Gaza to the 2017 Charlottesville white supremacy rally, that's basically what it is. Hasan Piker says he may not vote for Joe Biden. Did she just compare pro-Palestinian activists to Nazis who said Jews will not replace us? They literally are fucking akin to Nazis who rally and say Jews will not replace us. Oh my god, dude.
Doesn't Biden think the anti-Israel protesters in this country are extremists?
What I can say is what we've been very clear about this. When it comes to anti-Semitism, there's no place. We have to make sure that we speak against it very loud and be very clear about that. Remember, what the president decided when the president decided to run for president.
Like, it is not a bold claim to say the majority of pro-Palestinian activists are anti-Semitic.
Is what he saw in Charlottesville in 2017, when he saw neo-Nazis marching down the streets of Charlottesville with vile anti-Semitic just hatred. And he was very clear then, and he's very clear.
They literally didn't even compare the two.
Now. He's taken actions against this over the past 2 years, and he's continued to be clear. There is no place for this type of vile and despite this kind of rhetoric.
Did she us? The necessity.
She didn't even compare the two. Just coded angry pumpkins. Okay. That's good, Dodo.
How are the new Planet of the Apes movies bad? They may be unrealistic, but that does not make them bad. The main character is great. Also, this new film takes place in an apocalyptic world where humans are feral and animals with is good because humans suck ass.
The Planet of the Apes movies have been terrible. They're just special effects vomit fucking films. Stories are stupid, don't make any fucking sense. Looks like the new one may be a remake of the original. That's what it looks like anyway. They really just got to get rid of the fucking chimps with machine guns, and that would do a hell of a lot for the movie. But yeah. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Sokiyashi donated $2. Just a reminder to stay strong, keep going, just like Guts. Better times are ahead. Hopefully. Thanks for the donation, Sokiyashi. Wizardly Rhino donated $2. Antipsychotics can cause unbearable restlessness and involuntary movements of the face and make you sleep all day and eat all day while also not being able to stop moving and pace back and forth, plus brain damage, so be careful. The only side effects I've gotten from antipsychotics is they give me more energy. They do make me fidget more than normal. I do tend to fidget around more. And I have involuntary eye movements occasionally. That's it. Thanks for the donation, Wizardly Rhino. 21st Savage donated $2. Talk about niggas in Paris. Let me see, this is the kind of immigration policy that Biden wants for America, yet you support Biden. Wouldn't you rather support someone with a brain? All anti-Semites.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah, that is stupid. Thanks for the donation, 21st Savage. Boo Boo Gains and $2. Here you go, my friend. Love you. Well, thank you, sir. Let me take a look.
Ai, bonito.
Oh, wow.
Ai, bonito. Ai.
Maned wolf.
Ai.
Yeah, maned wolves are very interesting animals. Oh. Wow, maned wolf playing with a deer. Huh. That's really cute. They're really beautiful. Very vocal. Dude, Finn's only done it like 3 times, but when Finn howls, it is the cutest fucking thing ever. Wow. Now those are fuzzy little guys. Thanks for the donation, Boo Boo Gains.
I heard you're on a very rapid weight loss phase. Isn't it recommended to lose no more than 1% of body weight per week? Also, is there any benefit of doing stretching post-workout?
Yeah, generally speaking, you should only aim to lose 1% of your body weight per week. Is there a benefit to doing stretching post-workout? Yes, there is. There's some new research showing that it might actually increase muscle growth. So, yeah, it may have something to do with stretch under load or something related to that. So it looks like if you put a lot of weight across a muscle and then stretch, it seems to have a hypertrophic benefit. It's also good for mobility. It prevents tendons from shortening. I do think in all likelihood it helps reduce injury risk in general. You may not see that in the literature when it comes to just general strength training, because you don't have significant mobility requirements for weight for, you know, just general strength training. But if you're doing anything terribly athletic, like aside from weight training, you probably want to stretch after a session. But thanks for the donation, Peanut Butter Boy. Appreciate it.
Have you considered butyrate supplementation for mental health? It modulates the gut microbiome, which in turn exerts benefits on the mind.
I do not think that is going to do much. Like, if you eat a high-fiber diet, you're going to be producing plenty of butyrate, so I don't know if this really does anything. I'll consider it, but I don't know. Whatever, you know, I don't think a fucking over-the-counter butyrate supplement's gonna do anything. Thanks for that donation, Richard.
Sing this as your redneck character. Please sing the entire song. Here's the music video and lyrics. The music video will make it funnier.
Okay, we'll do that in a minute. Thanks for the donation, Blue Balls.
If you're okay with it, would you mind explaining how your depression makes you feel? What it feels like? Is it just hopelessness and despair?
Right now, it's really fucked up. It's not just hopelessness and despair, it's like the sense of pain. I don't know, there's this constant pain I'm in. I'm also having a lack of enjoyment from doing anything. So it's very hard to enjoy myself. It's hard to feel happy or motivated to do anything because, again, I don't find anything really all that enjoyable. It's also come along with this, like, anxiousness and anxiety and restlessness. I just feel like I want to have something to do, but whenever I do something, I just don't want to do it. It's really annoying. Thanks for the donation, though, Farce.
Please react. No, this guy triggers you, but I wanted to see if you can refute his claims of pets not being smart enough to find their owners when lost.
Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about Ron DeSantis, you know, the governor
We've already
of Florida,
seen that clip of DeSantis in high heels.
All right, everyone.
And I don't watch that guy because he's a fucking idiot. Thanks for the donation, dude. Don't give two shits what that fucking moron has to say. Who cares? Why would I listen to a fucking retard? Richard Burgess donated $2. Jasmine, can you get me my nicotine? Thanks, sweetie, love you. Well, thank you for the donation, Richard Burgess, but she's already given me my nicotine.
If you're okay with it, would you mind telling us what your depression feels like? Is it hopelessness and despair? Thanks.
Okay, I think you just donated that twice, and I've already explained myself, but thanks for the donation again, Farce. Goku donated $2, daddy or not. Let me see. Her butt is probably natty. Actually, no. Now that I see it from a different angle. Might not be. Maybe she's just really thick. I don't know, but It's hard to tell. Maybe BBL, maybe. She might just be thick, though. Who knows? Thanks for the donation, Goku. Dodo Nutellers, those baby raccoons reminded me of Bulborbs, which remind me you should play Pikmin 4. Look at this amazing game you're missing out on. Oh yeah, bread bugs. Yeah. Well, that is a bread bug. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Alright, let me try to do this. Attention all shoppers, attention all shoppers. There's a cleanup on every aisle. Target is targeting your kids. They put a target on your back, but they'll target your kids. They don't even know, they need to ask, because all they know what it is. Yeah, that's why I keep a strap. I'm always about my biz. This agenda gotta stop. Ain't you know we gonna win. When they target in, target, yeah, they target your kids. Target, yeah, they target your kids. You know that the target is wrong, trying to play with what the kids. It's the mayor of Magaville, I'm preaching again. You know, the LGBTQ, they went too far. I'm only rocking with Bruce, don't rock with no Caitlyn Jenner. You think that gay shit don't get you paid? Yeah, we gon' see. It's Mar-a-Lago 2024, we trumpin', baby. They put a target on your back, but they put a target on your kids. They don't even need to ask, because you all know what it is. Whatever. If you want to refund the dono, it's the most I can do.
Get a debate happening is because I struggle to understand where you're coming from, man, in the way that it just really seems like there's so much evidence, overwhelming evidence pointing against what you're saying, that we should eat a carnivore lifestyle. And it just leads me to believe that perhaps you're being dishonest with people, and you are, you know, that's why I singled you out more. Like, some people believe meat is healthy, whatever, and they promote the diet. Okay, but the way that you've gone about it just doesn't feel honest to me. And the way that you're telling people these things are just seem against what I believe and what I think appears clear. So that's what I would like to understand, you know, if you, where you're coming from, why you believe what you believe, where our differences of opinion lie. And I hope that you're not the dishonest person that, you know, I question whether you are or not. And that's about it.
Okay, thanks for that. And let's go on to Nick. Nick, if you'll just share a little bit about your background and I guess your position, I suppose, just a brief position, I guess.
Yeah. So my name's Nick. I'm also an ethical vegan. Much of my position on the matter aligns with James. Me personally, I took human nutritional science in university. I wasn't able to finish the degree, but yeah. basically a blog about nutrition, and
Moo gains Nutrivores, run free, my animals love you. Let me see.
Cattle drive.
Poor cows.
Moo.
Jesus, some of the branding is crazy. Those are beautiful cows. They're really sweet.
Oh my gosh.
I got loose somehow.
Oh my gosh, Noah, this is fabulous.
Cows are really fucking cute. Wow. So handsome. These are good moo-moos.
Lemmies.
Oh my god. Sheep are super cute. Hello, Prim. Yeah, it's your good boy. Could you not step on my nuts? Yeah, sheep are really sweet. Oh, wow. Oh my god.
Is that for your house?
Wow. Well, those are all very nice animals. Thanks for the donation, Moo Gains.
I try to raise the standard of discourse in the nutrition space. I will do things like introduce formal logic. I will run formal internal critiques on opposing positions. And I do a lot of semantic analysis.
Let's see. Donate tellers, how quickly can you transition from depressed to not feeling depressed? I don't know, man. Usually it takes like several days for me to go from being depressed to feeling fine. Does it sometimes take minutes and sometimes take days, or do you never go from the level of depression you're experiencing now to feeling relatively good, happy within just a few minutes? I don't think I ever feel relatively happy, you know, from this state within just a few minutes. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
When I am critiquing people's positions in this domain. So, yeah, my goal here is to just, in general, raise the standard of discourse in the space, because honestly, the meta is pretty trash and the standard of discourse is pretty trash. And yeah, that's all people really need to know about me.
All right. Well, I guess from my position, I'm obviously, my background is in orthopedic surgery. I'm not a nutritionist by training. However, I'm a clinician, and I've dealt with taking care of people's health for many, many decades, 3 decades now. And so I have a sort of a profound desire to help people in their health journey. And as you can see, we have a community of people that all have sort of benefited from this, and there are many, many, many other people in there. I do have a question for you guys on just, can you, I guess, individually just define what a vegan is, just so we know we're talking on the same page, because I think some people get different.
Jasmine's Frozen Egg Cells donated $2. Richard, would you ever do a Change My Mind event at a college campus regarding Israel-Palestine? If so, do you think students will physically assault you? No. Nobody would physically assault me because they'd have to have a death wish. I'm not the type of person who gets attacked for shit like that. But, no, I wouldn't bother. For one thing, there's no way I'd ever be able to do something like that on a college campus. The faculty wouldn't let me do it, and I'd probably end up just getting shouted at by a billion people at once. Thanks for the donation, though, Jasmine's frozen egg cells.
Definition. Some people think it's a diet. Some people think it's a lifestyle. Some people call it a cult or religion. But to you guys, what is veganism, or what does being a vegan actually mean to you? If you could define that, and maybe there's some consensus among you.
I could take that, James, if you want.
Please.
So, yeah, I reject most standard definitions of veganism because I think they analytically just lead to really weird places. And they're not places that I don't think any rational vegan would even sign off on. So, for example, if you look at the Vegan Society's definition of veganism, it says that basically the idea is that you don't exploit animals, which implies that if we were to find sentient life that didn't belong to the kingdom of Animalia, it would be okay, or at least compatible with veganism, to exploit it. So for this reason, on an analytic basis, I reject that particular definition of veganism. I think the values that vegans tend to gravitate.
Would you consider talking with Dr. K?
No, the guy is a liar. He's dishonest as fuck. He constantly bullshits about his expertise, his clinical practice, his educational history. He's a dishonest, lying fuck, and I'd never trust him. I also have reason to believe that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to a lot of things. And he tries to use alternative methods of therapy as a grift. So I'd never talk to Dr. K about problems that I have. I think the guy is a fucking untrustworthy idiot. Thanks for the donation, though, Gotham Knights.
Around equal treatment of sentient beings. So the definition that I kind of came up with to try to approximate what I think vegans are most likely valuing in most cases is this. Veganism is an applied ethical position that advocates for the equal trait-adjusted application of commonplace human rights, such as the UN's Universal Declaration of Human Rights, to non-human sentient beings. So what I mean by trait-adjusted is we wouldn't give a pigeon the right to vote. And we wouldn't give somebody with the mental capacity of a pigeon the right to vote. So that's what I mean by trait adjusted. Wherever, like,
I don't even think you need to say trait adjusted. Because I mean, what is the worst case scenario outcome for, you know, the scenario in which you give a pigeon the right to vote? Nothing. Pigeons don't vote. So, it's basically assumed that, yeah, it would be trait adjusted anyway. And even if it weren't, okay, so what? We give pigeons the right to vote. Nothing happens.
If you equalize the traits between two beings, whatever rights we deem them to have, we should regard them equally between humans and animals, or non-human sentient beings.
So obviously that's a sort of a complex definition that most people would not have heard before, but I kind of get the gist of what you're saying. So if we have a crab who's only got certain capacities, you know, obviously they're not going to be an architect or write poetry or anything like that, and we wouldn't expect that of them. I would assume that includes the right to life. I mean, all beings, you would say, have a right to life, right? Would that be a fair, as part of your trait adjusted sort of scenario?
I would extend the negative right to not have your life taken. Sure.
Okay, so can't be killed. Okay, right. So
yeah,
not killed.
So just to give you an example, vegans are fine eating plants. Ostensibly, plants are not sentient. We're also fine taking people off of life support when they're brain dead, because ostensibly they're not sentient either, right? So we already do this in a lot of cases. All I'm saying is that we should extend this to a wider range of behaviors, a wider range of considerations. That's it.
Do you think that most vegans hold your same position? Because, you know, again, you're one individual. There are many millions of people on the planet that have adopted a vegan diet. Is that fair to say, or maybe James have a different? Take on this?
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what James says, but me in particular, when I approach vegans who espouse commonplace definitions of veganism and substitute my definition in its place and tell them the analytic problems with the other definitions, they usually come around to my way of thinking, because they're like, yeah, that is pretty much what my values are approximating. Because let's say we found a sentient plant, right? Let's say we found a plant that could suffer just as much as a cow. I don't think it would be vegan to kill that plant, right? And I don't think many other vegans would actually sign off on, yeah, it would be vegan to kill that plant. So even though it's a plant and not an animal, I don't think it's compatible with veganism to kill it. So it seems prudent to me to come up with a definition that actually captures vegan values accurately, which is I don't think most commonplace definitions actually do.
Yeah, I mean, because there is evidence have some level of perception of something. Like they communicate chemically. When a caterpillar is chewing on leaves, it sends signals to other.
It does not work.
Plants know it potentially is bothersome to them. To me, I don't really care. I think it's a silly argument. I don't care if I step on plants and kill plants. It doesn't bother me.
Neither do I.
So you know, if you extended that argument to what is sentience, and again, that becomes a sort of an interesting definition. But let me. I just want to hear James's thought on what does it mean to you to be a vegan, just out of curiosity.
Sure. When I first went vegan, it was just a general feeling after seeing slaughter footage for one of the first times and learning that we can thrive without eating animal products. So when I saw it, I felt this is wrong. And
Nate Higgers, $20, please react. Does meditation boost testosterone? I have not seen any research suggesting meditation boosts testosterone. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Because generally speaking, things that are calming and relaxing tend to increase testosterone. So getting more sleep boosts testosterone. Taking drugs that cause relaxation boost testosterone. So that would be like ashwagandha, nicotine, marijuana. Those drugs tend to boost testosterone. So doing something like meditation that makes you more calm, relaxed, chill wouldn't surprise me if it boosted testosterone.
Number 10th hack for health is meditation. Now, this is something interesting. I have been trying to meditate, I don't know, since I was a kid. Always something happened. Like I got bored. I wasn't interested in it anymore. It was hard. It was kind of getting like annoying or irritating. I couldn't wake up, or I would fall asleep if I meditated. A lot of stupid shit happened. Now, for the first time in my life, I'm able to meditate somewhere around 20 minutes to an hour, but the average is 30 minutes a day. Okay. So when I wake up at 3:30, from 3:30 to 4, I just stay in my bed. I close my eyes and I meditate. I don't have a mantra. I don't focus on my breath. I don't focus on my third eye, none of that shit. It's too complicated for me, man. If the universe or God or whatever wants to bless me, I'm just going to try. All right. I'm just going to make an effort. So I wake up in the morning, I close my eyes, and I just fucking sit there. That's it. Like, I just sit there. Whatever happens, happens. Okay. I have no agenda or like trying to do this or that. Fuck all that. Okay. And what I found is every morning there is a different sort of objective that just emerges, a different type of plan that emerges somehow. Like a couple of nights ago, I was having a hard time with some childhood trauma, and there were some like deep desires and cravings and some really dark stuff that I had been imagining but was like suppressing for, I don't know, disturbance, some distraction, someone, or you want to...
Okay, that's a stupid video, but you know my opinion on that now.
And then I learned veganism is basically the practical path to living in alignment with your belief that the violation of these beings' rights is immoral. But the actual definition of veganism that people use commonly, I agree, has flaws. And I agree with that now based on people like Nick who have, a better background in logic than perhaps the people who first coined the word vegan and created a definition with it. So these days, I would agree with something like what Nick just said, which is that animal rights are a logical extension of human rights because they are similar beings. They are so similar to us that they deserve similar treatment. And for them, they have interests that are similar to what we have, the interest in not being slaughtered, for example. So to protect their interests, we give them rights. We give them those rights by law, for example. That's what a right is, a protection of interests by law. And I think that is just a logical thing for us to do to other sentient beings. So my definition of veganism is basically about rights allocation more widespread to other species. And in line with how sentient they are determines what rights they get.
I'll say, okay, so there is some level of, I guess you'd call it speciesism, because I mean, there's some level of, this is a snail, he only gets this amount of rights. This is a hamster, he gets more rights. This is a gorilla, he gets more rights. This is a human. Is that a fair?
No, I wouldn't call that speciesism, because the thing that's determining the differential treatment is not indexed to species classification. It's indexed to
sentientism, maybe sentientism.
Well, I mean, if you want to call it sentientism, that's fine with me, because I don't think it's immoral to damage things or frustrate things that are not sentient. I don't even know what it would mean for that to be immoral.
Well, let me, obviously, and we can run all these hypotheticals, but if I'm driving down the road and, there's a kid in the road on one side and there's a rabbit on the road on the other side, I'm going to run over the rabbit every single time.
Me too.
Same
so,
here.
I mean, so we make distinctions.
I would say it depends on the child.
Between animals and humans in certain situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, James, you don't believe that your diet has no animal death involved in it. I mean, do you believe that there's no animals that die when you consume whatever plant-based diet you consume? There's some, right? I mean, you would concede that. I mean, both you would.
I would definitely concede that. I just don't see those deaths as rights violations. And that's what's important to me. There are human deaths in the transport and different parts of the system as well that accidentally happen that I also wouldn't see those as rights violations. I don't think it's immoral. Just
accidental death, accidental death. But I mean, we do a lot of it intentionally. I mean, if we look at pesticide usage in the United States, we kill 4 quadrillion insects a year alone. That's a lot. I mean, that is done 100% intentionally via pesticide. So that is an intentional death. There are plenty of animals that are culled to prevent them eating crops. We use explosives. We shoot them. We sometimes burn areas. We have entire ecosystems that are wiped out intentionally so that we can plant soybeans and corn and tomatoes and strawberries.
Yeah, and those soybeans are being planted because of the fucking meat you eat, dipshit. Oh my God.
Berries and all that stuff. And I know you guys say, well, there's grains that are fed to cattle, which is true. So we know that there is intentional death in pretty much any dietary pattern that any reasonable human can actually adopt it. I mean, you might, if you live in the jungles of Costa Rica and you pick your own fruit, maybe you can minimize that to a degree. But I mean, if you eat any sort of modern diet today, it's going to involve a lot of death, and obviously I don't think insects are as valuable as a cow. I agree. I think insects, I don't really care about insects dying that much. I mean, ultimately when you kill insects, then birds die, and there's obviously some upscale things that occur with that. So we know that all of us are causing, whether we want to believe it or not, intentional death to these animals, right? So or am I off base on that? Do you believe there's no intentional death in this stuff?
Dodo to Nutellers, do you have any debates scheduled? Also, what time are you going to start playing Alan Wake? I don't have any debates scheduled, and I'm not sure if I'm going to play Alan Wake tonight. The new WRC game has technically released. On the Steam page, it says it released tomorrow, but I was actually able to get the game running already. And I kind of also wanted to play RoboCop. I'm more in a RoboCop mood, so we'll see, though. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. Appreciate it. What is this shit? Yeah, RoboCop is so fucking good, bro. RoboCop is great. Let me see if it still does it. Yeah, it says I can still play it.
Oh, I believe there's plenty of intentional death. I think most of the deaths in agriculture are intentional. But I also think those intentional deaths with respect to plant agriculture are compatible with veganism.
Vegan tranny donated tellers, why are you afraid to debate the goat of debates? He would destroy all your dumb arguments easily. How would you respond to what he said about veganism here? I don't know, those all sound like pro-vegan arguments to me. Thanks for the donation though, Vegan tranny.
Why is that? Why are we okay slaughtering, if you want to use that word, quadrillions of insects? And how?
Yeah, I only played the new WRC game for like literally 5 minutes, but it seems pretty fucking dope. Like the physics are really nice.
How many? Probably millions, if not billions, of small other creatures. Why is that?
Well, just go back to my definition, right? So I advocate for the trade-adjusted equal treatment of humans and animals. So in the case where we have quadrillions and quadrillions of tiny little, tiny little beings with like just like let's say that they were quadrillions and quadrillions of little people that were accosting our crops and actually posing a threat to our economy and our way of life. And it would be an existential threat if we did nothing about it. So there's quadrillions of these little humans and they're buzzing around and they keep eating our crops. I think even in that case, we'd be okay killing them, and I'd be okay with killing them. So killing those animals is compatible with veganism on my definition.
Interesting. James, is that okay with you, James? I mean, is that something you'd say it's okay to kill little bitty humans if they're eating our crops too?
Because, yeah, like it's defending your property and defending your life and everyone in your civilization. What is your alternative? I would love it if that wasn't a necessary part of our survival, but as you said, it is. So
I would even add to that. They don't have to be trade adjusted to that of an insect in order to sign off on this. If they were like full-fledged human beings, but they were constantly accosting our crops and causing existential threats to our civilization, I think we'd be okay with killing them too. Like let's say a neighboring country was like, okay, we're just going to attack your food supply. Yeah, we would retaliate. Right? So even if they were fully fledged human beings, we would be okay with this. We don't need to trade adjust in this case.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Well, I should have said this at the beginning. I have to leave at 10 o'clock. I have meetings and consultations I have to do. So we're limited on how much time we have, unfortunately. And this could be quite an interesting. So, one of the things I've heard a lot of vegans say, not necessarily you guys, but a lot of vegans say, hey, it's about just causing the least suffering you can, making conscious decisions to sort of decrease the overall amount of suffering. Yes, some animals die. Yes, insects die, but I'm doing my best to minimize that. Is that not a fair thought or definition?
Before we go to that, Shawn, can I just ask you, what do you think of that answer that you were just given on the crop deaths? Does that make logical sense to you? Like if it was,
to me, I don't mind killing crops for us to feed ourselves. I mean,
well, even if it was humans, like would you agree that if there was humans attacking your crop over and over and over and over again, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, like if you're at war, obviously there's war. I've been to war. I've seen.
Not if you're at war. Not if you're at war.
But I mean, you're kind of.
Yeah, Will Atreyu, stimulants have an antidepressant effect. One of the most common antidepressants that a lot of people don't realize is an antidepressant is coffee, because it contains caffeine. So caffeine is an antidepressant. I do drink coffee occasionally. I do drink sodas that contain caffeine. I do take energy drinks occasionally. So yeah, caffeinated beverages, including coffee, they are an antidepressant. That's not anything new.
They're just attacking your crop.
Well, but that's kind of a war, act of war.
Okay, sure. Sorry, go ahead.
So, yeah, I mean, there's reasons to kill humans. There's reason to kill animals. There's reason to kill insects. There are reasons, you know. I mean, if push came to shove and I was crashed on a plane in the Argentinian, in the Andes, I'd eat other people. I mean, that's the way it is.
Sure.
I think everyone, if you guys were stranded on a desert island, you would eat lizards. You do whatever you need to survive. We would all agree with that. Now the question is, do you need to do this to survive? And then where do you draw the line of what you accept now?
Well, would you just say that we're not illogical there? Like we're not being hypocrites there? Because a lot of people say, oh, crop deaths, vegans are hypocrites. Would you agree that we have a consistent position there?
Well, I mean, I from my perspective, I don't really care about the crop deaths that much. I mean, personally, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense to me. But then you hear a lot of vegans will say, I have no guilt on my plate. And they're like, I'm having a guilt-free meal. There's no death on my plate. And I look at that and I say, wait a minute, but yeah, there are deaths there. And so to ignore that, at least you guys recognize that, yes, I'm causing death by eating, by existing. And, when you look at, and again, maybe I'm wrong, but a lot of people that I hear that are vegans are saying, I'm doing my very best to minimize suffering, right? And I'll look at a guy like you, James. You lift weights, you're in shape, you exercise, so do I. It takes more food to do that. There's no doubt about it. The only way you're going to have muscle is if you eat more. If you eat more, there's more deaths. And so how do you, as a vegan, sort of say, I want to be stronger, I want to be a better athlete?
That's a really fucking stupid question, and it shows he's not really tracking what they're saying. They already talked about how they don't consider it a rights violation to cause crop deaths, so why would they care?
I want to be, I want to have a little more muscle, but I know I have to eat more. And if I eat more, there are more animals that are dying. Why not just...
Wait, what's the argument for that?
What's the argument for that? What's
the argument that there are more animals dying as opposed to
food? Because you're eating more food.
Yeah, but like the counterfactual is that we don't have crops, so there's animals dying on wild land too. So what's the argument that the total amount of deaths is going up by eating more food?
Well, I mean, if you look at the way food is raised.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So there's going to be animal deaths in natural, nature, without farmland. So why would it be assumed that there's more animal deaths on, say, a square mile of farmland versus a square mile of wilderness? So if you did have an interest in reducing deaths, period, and you weren't just concerned with rights violations, it's not necessarily true that you're increasing animal deaths by eating more, plant foods.
Right? I mean, if you go to a natural landscape, there's birds, there's bees, there's butterflies.
And there's tons of death.
There's tons of death. But when you go to a monocrop, which most of our food is produced in, it is complete and utter destruction. It is absolutely desolation. There's nothing that lives outside of that monocrop. So the number of deaths is by almost without.
So first of all, that's not true. Second of all, if he's going to say there's no life in a monocrop setting, that means there's less deaths.
Argument is going to be greater.
That's an empirical claim. I'd like to see some evidence for that.
Well, I mean, if you can show over an equivalent area of landscape where we plant monocrops and we provide pesticides, 4 quadrillion deaths a year in the United States alone over our crops, if you can show that there's the same there, and then again, it's intentional versus unintentional. Well, I guess intentional, human intentional, right? We're the one.
Yeah, like, doesn't your average insect only live for like 2 weeks or something? So, I don't know why it would be assumed that there's more insect deaths. And on top of that, who the fuck cares?
One's killing it. Whereas if a bear eats a deer, is that human intent?
So all we need to do here is just demonstrate that there's more animal death on cropland as opposed to wildland that those crops would be occupying. And then the argument goes through, but without those empirics, I just see no reason to accept that.
So what about the empirics of there are more deaths in wild versus an animal agricultural system? In the United States, 30 million head of cattle are slaughtered every year. I'd say there are way more wild animal deaths across all species than that.
It's not true.
Just if you eat cows. So, I mean, it's the same argument, right?
Right. And I advocate for displacing the wild world into non-existence, right? Like I think the natural world is actually morally problematic, and I advocate for its non-existence.
So go. I'm sorry. Can you expand upon that?
I don't think, if you're talking about mammals, I don't think that's even true. That there are more deaths in nature if we're talking about mammals. I don't even think that that's possible.
I mean, you advocate for getting rid of the natural world, and we.
Let's see, Kid Boo donated $2. Would you rather marry a far-right neo-Nazi vegan or moderate centrist vegetarian? It's a tough question. I don't know. I really don't know. That would be like a coin flip type of thing. Thanks for the donation though, Kid Boo. Slightly crazy vegan donated $2. Pro-Palestinian activists are anti-Semitic Nazis. Yeah, sure looks like these pro-Palestinian ultra-Orthodox Jews are anti-Semitic Nazis. I didn't say all of them are. What? Oh my god, I'm fucking just done with you. You're an idiot. I never said that. So, fuck you. I said most.
Oinks like Browski. You gotta, dude. Check this out. Man. Check out this sick kick flip, man.
Our fathers have been entangled in things. He's been squandering, and we don't do a thing, 'cause we're busy and things. We're just wandering, we're just wandering like.
Wow. That goat looks like he's having fun. Dude, goats are special. Thanks for the donation, Emmanuel. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, the natural world is filled with death and destruction, things I find morally problematic. Why wouldn't I advocate for
what would you replace that with?
Human infrastructure.
Human infrastructure, and you're saying we would do a better job as humans.
Yeah, I would even go so far as I think the end goal should be to ditch this ball because it's a liability in and of itself.
Well, that a lot of people might find that problematic.
Well, I mean, that's fine. People are free to think that I have a weird position here. That doesn't really concern me, though.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Let me
just on that, Shawn.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something, Nick?
Oh no, I'm good.
I would disagree with Nutrivore's take here slightly because he just agreed with Shawn without any pushback that there are about the same amount of wild animal deaths, you know, for a given square kilometer of wilderness versus a square kilometer of cattle ranch, which is not true. That's like, I don't even think that's possible because these animals are being fed corn and soy. The density of these animals within that square kilometer is greater, and they're being killed and slaughtered after, I think the average is something like 12 months or something like that. A year to year and a half. So I don't think that's possible. He should have had some pushback against that. Bic donated $2. Do you remember this debate? What led you to believe oils should be avoided and vegan reverses CBD? Also, what happened to this guy, Andy? Did I say that in that debate? Yeah, I've changed my position on the oils thing, obviously. But yeah, I remember debating Worski with Ask Yourself. Worski's channel kind of died. I don't know what he's up to right now. Thanks for the donation, Bic. Ebullient donated $2. Do you like strategy games like Civ, StarCraft, etc.? No, never been into real-time strategy. Thanks for that donation, Ebullient. 21st Savage donated $2 to add to Crazy's point. Anti-Semitic Nazi rabbi confronts Biden. That's not a rabbi. That's some dumb bitch.
As a rabbi?
Oh. Women can be fucking rabbis? I thought that was not permitted under Judaism.
I need you to call for a ceasefire right now.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's 2023, I guess. But yeah, I never said all fucking pro-Palestinian protesters are anti-Semitic. I said most. And again, if you go to a pro-Palestinian rally, hold up a photo of the Prophet Muhammad, or ask them whether or not the Holocaust actually happened. Like, you'd be surprised how many people will either attack you or deny things like the Holocaust. Most of the protesters are anti-Semitic. This is pushing the US into World War III. It's not. Algerian parliament gave President Tebboune the authority to go to war with Israel with 100% positive vote. Yeah, well, Algeria is a fucking shithole, and they have sex with goats, so good luck with going to Israel. Do you think I'm going to sit back and watch my TV and watch a genocide? Uh-huh, sure.
It doesn't make sense.
That's great. Thanks for the donation, 21st Savage. Vic donated $2, but like, why did you believe oil should be avoided? Because of stupid shit I heard from Caldwell Esselstyn. Was it because of Dr. Greger? Were you just stupid? There's no evidence saying they're bad. Yeah, it's because I heard Caldwell Esselstyn say that stuff, and I didn't really think critically about it. Thanks for the donation, Bick.
Just on that, Shawn, like, do you see where he's coming from there? You know, I haven't given this part of
I mean, I can see his argument. I would kind of disagree with that pretty.
Well, would you disagree that if you made human infrastructure over where there is usually a huge amount of suffering and death and rights violations, most likely this human infrastructure is going to have a lot less of that.
So I guess if we're calling a rights violation a lion eating a zebra, would that fall into your definition of a rights violation?
On my definition, yeah.
Okay, interesting. Obviously.
Hey, I'm donating to tellers. Either I'm misunderstanding something or this guy is fucking retarded. Let's see.
During your speech, you made a lot of references to Jewish people as well as certain people in your audience, not Jewish people in general, but certain people, especially in your audience, to Nazis. Now, that is extremely offensive when certain people are German, and they're also extremely offensive to people who actually suffered under Nazi rule.
I don't respect that anymore. I don't respect the crocodile tears. The crocodile tears. No. As for folks, I don't like to play before an audience the Holocaust card. Now I feel compelled to. My late mother, please shut up. My late father was in Auschwitz concentration camp. My late mother was in Majdanek concentration camp. Every single member of my family on both sides was exterminated. Both of my parents were in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. And it's exactly because of the lessons my parents taught me and my two siblings that I will not be silent when Israel commits its crimes against the Palestinians. And I consider nothing more despicable than to use their suffering and their martyrdom to try to justify the torture, the brutalization, the demolition of homes that Israel daily commits against the Palestinians.
This is fucking retarded. Hamas is a military target. This is just ignoring all fucking context. Hey, stop sending me Israel-Palestine stuff. Like, most of the people who are arguing with me on this in chat are fucking stupid. I don't care anymore, okay? You're just wrong and dumb. Alright? Fucking Hamas needs to be exterminated. If you have a problem with innocent civilians dying, well then go fuck yourself. Go to Palestine and I hope you get blown up. Beans and Rice donated $2. Hey VG, have you actually been to a pro-Palestine rally? There's a lot of misinformation clips going viral thanks to the MSM. To make it look like it's a gathering of anti-Semites. 99% of the protests are peaceful and there are Jews. Go to one, find out. Yeah, just because it's peaceful, that doesn't mean most of them aren't anti-Semitic. Like, again, ask any of these fucking assholes in the fucking crowd. Do you think the Holocaust happened? Guarantee you, a huge number of them, a surprising amount, will deny the Holocaust, give you revisionist bullshit. Huge amount of them aren't recognizing Hamas as a terrorist group. They're saying, oh, they're freedom fighters. Obviously, they're going to do this if, Jews enact the sort of, violence against them. Like, that's anti-Semitic, in my opinion. So, no. Just because they're peaceful, it doesn't mean they're not anti-Semites. There are peaceful Nazi rallies. Oh, I guess the Nazi rallies, they're not anti-Semitic because it's peaceful. The fuck does it being peaceful have to do with... Just shut up. Thanks for the nation. Vosh donated $3. Oh, wait, never mind.
Israel is Zionist bitch.
That's great. Thanks for the nation, dude.
See that?
Would you disagree?
I would disagree.
Well, what do you think the animal being eaten would think?
Well, I mean, it would suck. I wouldn't like to.
Do they feel like their rights are being violated?
Yes.
Think?
Well, I think they're being murdered. They're being killed. Well, not murdered. They're being killed. Right. So, yeah. I mean, the animal, it doesn't. But I mean, what about the animal that starves to death? What about the animal that needs to eat? Should we violate their rights so they don't get to eat and they die anyway? Is that any better?
For some animals, yeah, absolutely. But I also think that like animal procreation is problematic. Non-human animal procreation is problematic. So I don't even advocate for most animals to exist to begin with. Like I was going to say this earlier. You keep on referencing things that you've heard other vegans say. I would just like ignore pretty much anything that you've ever heard from any other vegan, because it's very unlikely that you've ever met another vegan like me.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, okay, that's fair enough. And I mean, James, maybe you're 100% aligned with that. But I mean, again, most vegans on the planet, well, I think they wouldn't want all wildlife to disappear, and maybe they would. I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard that before, but that's interesting. Let me ask you, because I'm sort of thinking about this conventional definition. James, would it make sense to you to say that less suffering is better? If we could do something that would lead to less suffering, would that be better?
It would depend on what it was.
It would depend on what it was. Okay.
If less suffering,
like if it's an all else equal scenario, of course less suffering is better.
Okay, so let's just say, for instance, let's just specifically talk about animal agriculture. You guys find it abhorrent. I think it's necessary. But let's just say that.
Wait, what do you mean by necessary?
Well, it's necessary for me to get nutrition, for me to be adequately nourished in a way that I want to live. Right?
Yeah, but the word necessary, I don't know what it's doing there, because clearly there are alternatives, right?
Well, one way or the other, I got to eat the animal, right? So
eat grass, VG. Go Palestine.
Thanks for the nation, Abdul.
If we want to raise them domestically, or if I want to hunt them in the wild.
So like phrases like gotta, necessary, I don't know what work these are doing in the proposition that you just said.
For me to be in a position that I want to be in. So, I mean, again, it's obviously dependent on me, but let me just make the point I was going to make. So if we look at, let's say, and you guys probably find it abhorrent, in the United States, we kill 9 billion chickens, 30 million head of cattle, millions and millions of sheep and pigs. And if you, and hundreds and hundreds of billions of fish, right? I mean, this is to support the population. You guys find those numbers abhorrent, I'm sure. And if you divide that out over a population, right? The average American eats something like 27 chickens and 150 fish, and like if we count like shellfish and things like that, and about not even a tenth of a cow, because there's a cow produces about 500 pounds of meat. The average American eats about 50 pounds, and on and on and on. So in total, the statistics on this show, the average American eats something around 200 animals a year, right? That's what the average American eats. I eat a carnivore diet. Probably 99% of my calories come from beef. I end up eating about 2 animals a year, right? So am I actually better than the average omnivore because I only cause the direct death of 2 animals versus the 175, 200 that the average person? Is that a fair assessment, or would you say that's wrong as well?
I don't even think it's empirically accurate that you only kill 2 animals.
Well, the equivalent of 2 animals.
No, because you have to include all of the things that are you have to include all of the death that is entailed in obtaining those. So you're also including things like, I'm assuming that you're an advocate of like pasture raised beef or whatever.
No. I mean, I eat both. I clearly eat both.
So,
but I don't. But I mean, here's the thing. But you guys are saying it's totally morally fine to kill all those little insects to kill crops. The same thing with the animal production, right? The same thing with feeding a cow.
Right. So I'm calling into question the veracity of the empirics here. So you say 2 animals a year, and I say...
You say it doesn't matter what the empirics are. It doesn't even matter, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be
matter.
2 animals plus...
No, that's what I'm calling into question.
Whatever justifiable deaths are allowed because they're...
Eat grass, VG.
I don't think I'll do that, because I can't digest it. Thanks for the donation, though, Cowman.
Little tiny humans or little tiny insects.
No. Okay, I'm calling into question, like, regardless of whether or not it's on pasture, you have to count all of the animal deaths that are happening on the land that is producing that meat, because it doesn't have to be pasture, it can be a parking lot. Right, so you have to count all of those entailed deaths. It's same with factory farming. They're fed grains. You have to factor in all of the entailed death that is produced from the crops that it takes to feed those animals. So it's not just 2 animals a year. Like, it's just empirically straightforwardly false that is 2 animals a year.
No, it's 2 animals that are. I mean, if you can justify eating a vegan diet and all those.
Well, like, how is he even calculating that? He eats nothing but meat, so is he saying he eats the equivalent in like pounds of flesh to animals per year, or is he like saying literally only 2 cows per year are killed? And I would say that's bullshit because you see him regularly eating the same cuts of steak. So it's going to be more than 2 animals. He doesn't eat like head to tail type, diet where he'll actually buy a whole cow and eat the whole thing, like organs, like all of it.
Deaths don't matter, right? That's what you're saying. It's justifiable. You accept that. Then you have to also accept the same that goes into feeding.
What's the argument for that?
Well, you're saying.
Well, you say I have to, right? So I take that to be some kind of logical modal claim. So, like, what would be the contradiction if I didn't accept that?
Because you're asking me to accept the same argument. You're asking.
Well, what would be the contradiction in asking you to accept one and reject the other?
Because the same argument. You're saying that.
No, but like, what is the proposition?
You're saying crop deaths are meaningless. They don't mean anything. It's completely justifiable because.
I said they're not rights violations.
Okay, well then the same thing. They're not rights violations.
So like if your plant agriculture is supporting an animal holocaust, I would consider those to be rights violations because that need not happen, right? If your say pesticide use or whatever, if your crop production is to support the production of like corn, which I take not to be sentient, that is an entirely different thing. Right.
So it's okay if you eat the corn, but if the animal eats the corn, it's a problem. Is that what you're saying?
Well, if you're like raising them to like hang them up by their legs and slit their throats and eat their meat, yeah, sure.
Okay, so ultimately it comes down to that animal at the end, right? That's the only difference, right?
Right. I mean, we can actually just cut straight to the heart of this, Shawn. Like we can cut through all of the jibber jabber about the peripheral topics and just cut straight to the meat of the matter.
But let me ask you a question. If you're saying that because I eat 2 cows a year and the average American eats 200 animals a year, right? All of the periphery goes into those animals' production as well. The sheep, the pigs, the chickens. Chickens eat a lot of corn, by the way. Chickens and pigs eat far more crops or far more grain than cows do. I mean, that's pretty clear. So what you're saying is that me eating less animals is no better than me eating more animals, right?
No, I was specifically calling into question the particular empirical claim that you only are responsible for 2 animal deaths.
Let's ignore the empirical claim. If I eat less animals,
are you retracting the empirical claim? Just to be clear.
No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is,
well, then I'm going to call it into question again, like unless you retract it.
Fine, call it in question, and you can disagree. But if I say I'm only eating the equivalent of 2 animals a year, is that better than someone that eats 300 animals a year?
Yeah, clearly
it is. Okay, it is. So I am, as a carnivore.
Wait. One second. I just want to clear this up. Eating 2 animals a year or responsible for 2 animal deaths a year, because both of those things are compatible with the same number of animals dying.
Eating 2 animals a year or being responsible for the death of 2 animals per year. I don't see what the difference is. If you're eating them, obviously they're dead.
Well, say somebody is eating 100 animals. Say somebody is eating 98 animals a year, and it takes 2 animals to get those 98, and you have somebody who's eating 2 animals a year, but it takes 98 animals to get those 2 animals. Both are responsible for the same amount of animal death, but they're eating 2 different proportions of animals. So it's like, which one are you claiming? That you're only eating 2 a year, or that you're responsible for?
I'm eating the equivalent of 2 animals per year, right?
Okay.
Yeah, sure, but that's compatible with that.
So he's probably causing something more like 50 to 100 or more animal deaths per year. So I assumed from the beginning that he was equating this in terms of pounds of flesh. So he's eating the equivalent of 2 cows in terms of pounds of flesh. He's not just eating 2 cows. So he's, like, again, in all likelihood, he's probably causing maybe the death of, in the neighborhood of like 50 to 100 cows or something.
Entailing more animal death.
From where? from crops you're talking about?
It's just compatible with you. It's compatible with there being more animal death to acquire those.
I'm not the only guy
Right.
eating stuff, right? So there's it's divided up. You don't just kill an animal. You don't just kill one elephant and then one person eats it.
The issue here is that
100 people eat it.
if the proposition is that you're responsible for less animal death, that's just not evidence for the claim. That you're only eating 2 animals. That's just not evidence for the claim.
Hey VG, can you ban Grey Knight 32 from the chat for being a fucking retard for saying factory farms are necessary?
No, unless he's spamming, I'm not going to ban him for that. You can argue with him in chat, but unless he does something to violate like chat rules like spam or harassment, I'm not going to ban him for that. Thanks for that donation, WillyMac.
If I only eat cows and I don't eat little shrimps and I don't eat chickens, it is very, very plausible that I'm eating less animals altogether.
Is plausible? I mean, plausible, sure, but whether or not it's probable, you're going to need empirics. You're going to need empirics to show whether or not it's probable. Plausible, I can just trivially grant. Of course, it's like possible that it's true.
Well, I think
Donators, if we're giving animals the same rights as trait equal humans or just human rights in general, then if a bunny steps on a sentient ladybug on purpose or accident, should we charge the bunny with manslaughter and then arrest it when it don't show up to court? Yes. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
I think it would fall under the realm of common sense to most people.
Common sense is pretty shitty evidence.
Well, we could sit there and, obviously, trace every molecule that I eat and where it came from, as could you, which would be an exercise in futility because no one's going to ever do that. So we have to have some reasonable sense of groundwork here.
Shawn is not a smart man.
Only beef, there's less animals probably dying at the end.
Wait.
Crop tests, which you don't think count. Right?
You use the word probable, which is a statistical term. So I'm assuming that you have some statistics to back up that claim. Do you? Yes or no?
Yes, a cow is much bigger than a chicken.
Okay, can I see that?
Oh my god, I didn't think I'd laugh tonight because I feel so shitty, but that was so goddamn stupid.
Those statistics?
So, he asks for statistical evidence. Here's my evidence. A cow is bigger than a chicken.
Let's see. A cow weighs something like 1,200 pounds. A chicken weighs something like 7 pounds or something.
I don't see how that matters.
Because there's more meat on one animal than the other.
Yeah, but are we talking about total animal death or just how many you're eating in a year? Because I'm not disputing how many you're eating in a year.
If I were to eat a whale, right? I mean, that could feed me for probably 2 decades, right? So versus if I ate mice, right? I mean, it's clear. It's clear to anybody that you're killing less animals have to die to produce.
I don't know why you're appealing to like popular intuitions. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking for empirics. You're making an empirical claim. It requires empirical evidence.
A whale is.
But if you were raising whales, you're going to need to feed them a lot of animals, right? So they're carnivores.
That's interesting.
Exactly.
They're
cool, right? But the point is that it's not just about the one whale that you eat. It's about the process of getting the whale to the size of your ready to eat.
Right. So a whale kills a lot of krill, and that doesn't matter because it's like they're minor small things. Maybe the krill are eating algae or something. They're killing some crop for some other species. So like I said, it's a very circular argument. But
wait.
So can we do something then? Unless you want to do something different, Nick. But you were about to go on to you said the meat of the argument kind of thing. I was interested.
Yeah. Donators is a genuine question for me. So you really think we should charge every bunny, deer, every human that steps on intentionally or unintentionally on a grasshopper, ladybug, caterpillar, if manslaughter or murder be serious? No, obviously not. There's just no way to practically manage something like that. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo. Faker Baker donators, dude, how does someone as dumb as Shawn get a medical degree? As long as your memory is good enough to just memorize, medical jargon, you can be a doctor. There's very little, well, there's virtually zero critical thinking skills involved in becoming a doctor. Like getting a GPA of like 3.8, passing all classes, organic chemistry, physics, etc. He is so dumb, I don't see how it's possible. Yeah, dude, there's book smarts where, again, you can read something and just retain the information, and then there's actual critical thinking skills, which is an entirely different thing that doesn't just rely on memory. So yeah, you can be pretty stupid and be a doctor. Thanks for that donation, Faker Baker.
Yeah, there's a way to cut straight to the heart of the matter here.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
But like you use the term circular arguments. I wanted to know what you were referring to there.
Well, let's spend time. Let's get to your meat of the argument because you've got something.
Okay.
Because we're running out of time. I don't want to.
Right. Okay.
Oh yeah. And by the way, Shawn did get his medical license suspended. He was performing surgeries improperly, so that might say something as well.
This is a question I've wanted to ask you for a while because I think the answer to this question may be more important than any of the empirics that we could talk about with respect to like the health of diet A versus diet B, say like, I don't know, plant-based versus carnivore or whatever. Because you would agree, like if eating Mexicans, for example, granted us like, it was like the fountain of youth. If like eating Mexicans made us live to 200 and we were just like youthful for that entire time, you wouldn't sign off on like farming Mexicans to eat, right?
No.
Right. So
I think look, let me just put it out there. I think human life is much more valuable than animal life.
So all I'm trying to establish there is that there are superseding ethical considerations even in your position, right?
Sure, of course.
So okay, I want to know what is untrue of animals, or what is true of animals that is untrue of humans, that if made true of humans would cause humans to lose sufficient moral value such that we would be justified doing the things to humans that we currently do to animals, like factory farming them and killing them and eating them.
Yeah, so humans are not animals. They never will be animals. Humans are animals, but the animals will never be human. There's nothing you can do to those animals to make them human.
Yeah, that's not an answer to the question, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I reject the premise of the question because there's not. If let's say a dog started talking to me in English and started to produce literature and could type and do all these wonderful things, it would still be a dog in my mind.
Well,
so there's nothing you can do that And,
this might be a nitpick. But questions don't have premises. So I like just what is true of an animal that is untrue of a human, that if made true of a human would justify us slaughtering them for meat.
Go.
That's all I'm asking. Like, what is the differential property between humans and animals that justifies the asymmetrical?
Dodo Nutillers, if human and animal rights are 100% equal, then it would be discrimination to investigate a human death and refuse to investigate and criminally charge a case. Where a ladybug was squished on the sidewalk. No, it wouldn't, because ladybugs are ladybugs. Just like how your mom is your mom. I think there can be a better definition of veganist. No. Thanks for that donation, Dodo.
Treatment in your mind. There must be something, Shawn.
Yeah, there are different species.
Well, that's not an answer to the question.
I am clearly a speciesist. I don't mind that.
No. That's not. We can explore that, but that's not an answer to the question, actually.
And the question is, would I eat another human being? This is what you're getting at. And
No. That's not what I'm getting at. That's not what I'm getting at. That's not what. I don't care what you would do personally. I'm asking what you find morally acceptable. Those are two different things, right? So. All I want to know is what justifies the asymmetrical treatment between humans and animals. That's all I want to know. What is
inherent differences? There are many differences. There are literally thousands and thousands
but
thousands.
the difference that justifies.
all we're looking for is any. Okay, so wait. You said all of them. So that means
any of them. There are different species. They're different critters.
Wait.
I'm not human, right?
Wait.
This is the most brain dead horseshit you hear from like Discord debates when somebody doesn't understand the name the trait question. Shawn is really dumb.
All or any of them. So if we took a human hair and put it on a cow, they would no longer be morally right to kill in your
No, it's
mind?
still a cow because you haven't replaced the rest of it.
But
If
you
they
said
turned it
all or
into
any.
human-
You said all or any traits.
If you covered a cow in human hair, it would still be a cow to me.
Wait. But that's a contradiction.
If a cow started talking, I would still eat it eventually. It might not be. The first cow.
Wait. You said all or any traits, right? What's logically entailed from that is that if you took a human hair and put it on a cow, then it would be ethical it would still be ethical to like kill the cow. Now, this is just me coming in editing. I'm not putting this here to like save face. I'm putting this here so that people don't get confused by my misspeaking right here. I meant unethical. I think it would be obvious to anybody who's familiar with like vegan debate that I meant unethical. But just in case there's anybody watching who isn't familiar with those sorts of discussions, it's important for me to point out that here I misspoke. I said ethical when I meant unethical. So if you want to hear that in context, just roll it back a little bit and hopefully everything will be made clear. Kill the cow, or if you took a cow hair and put it on a human, then it would be be ethical to kill the human. Like that's what's logically entailed. I just want to get clear. That's what.
You look like Dr. Robotnik.
Thank you. That's one of the nicest things anybody's ever said to me. Appreciate the donation, the ultimate god slayer.
It's logically entailed from what you just said. So this is me coming in during editing again. Just so there's no confusion, I misspoke here as well. So it is logically entailed from Shawn's position that a cow with a single human hair would not be ethical to kill. It is not, however, logically entailed from Shawn's position that putting a single cow hair on a human makes the human ethical to kill. I misspoke here, and I just want to clear that up in case what I said was confusing to anybody. All right, back to the debate.
So if let's say suddenly you implanted a horn on your head, Nick. I mean, there's some people, body modification, people that think I'm a cow. I would still not eat the human unless I was, again, less.
Right. So is the trait just being human? Because we can go with all instead of any. Like any is like a ridiculous thing to say in response to that question. So but just human.
Being a human takes it off the plate for me, right?
Okay.
I mean, in less extreme circumstances.
Then I have a follow-up question. Please just engage with the line of reasoning. Like I have a follow-up question. So let's say that we discover a group of beings that were identical to humans in every way except for a cluster of genetics that push them outside of the distribution of Homo sapiens sapiens. Would it be ethical to just like kill them and eat them?
If we ran a bunch of, like, let's say we had a bunch of Homo erectus still running around, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I would be less inclined to eat them. How's that? Now, do I know that I wouldn't eat them?
Well, like it's a yes or no. Like, would it be morally permissible?
Would it be more?
Like, imagine saying that. I'd be less inclined to eat our like closely related ancestors or cousins. Like, what?
Morally permissible? I don't know. I'm not the ultimate authority on that. But
well, no. You don't have to be.
I probably personally would not eat another Homo erectus. Okay, so but they don't exist. This is a situation that doesn't exist and probably never will exist.
Here we go. Hypothetical dodging. This is going exactly as I thought it would.
Ultimate authority. You are the ultimate authority on what you. No. You let me finish my sentence. You are the ultimate authority on what you consider okay and not okay. Right? You are the ultimate authority on that. So what I'm asking is, would it be okay?
So I probably wouldn't eat if we found a group of Homo erectus walking around, I probably would not eat them, and I probably.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking if you would eat them or not. I'm asking whether or not you think it would be okay if we ate them, the same way we eat cows: string them up upside down, slit their throats, eat their meat.
Well, again, for me, and again, I don't know.
It's just a yes or no, Shawn.
Well, I can't speak for everybody else.
I'm not asking you to. I'm asking for your position, whether or not you think that's okay or not okay.
That is such a dodge, by the way. Like when you ask somebody, "What's your opinion on this?" Well, I don't know what other people think. It's like I asked for your opinion. Like, how is the response? Well, I don't know what other people think. Like that's just a dodge
for me to do.
Yeah, for it to be done. Because you said you wouldn't be okay with you wouldn't be okay with other people killing Mexicans to live to 200. So I'm asking you, like, would you be okay for it to be done that these beings that are like humans in every way except for a cluster of genetics that pushes them outside of the distribution of Homo sapiens sapiens, would you be okay with them being factory farmed? Is the question.
If they're the same as humans, no.
Okay, so that's a contradiction.
Okay, it's a contradiction. Okay, so
okay,
I'm still eating cows. I'm still eating pigs. I'm still eating chickens. You can come up with some crazy argument that's never going to exist. That's fine.
Yeah, of course. This guy just doesn't care. Like, he's just a selfish shithead. That's all you really need to know.
But I'm still going to eat pigs and cows and chickens. They're far enough difference to me. I mean,
what is those differences, Shawn? Like, can I just ask you? You know, you're so fine.
He said they're not human. That's the difference.
I know, but like, how is that relevant, mate? You know, they still feel pain, they still suffer, they still have desires, they still have a personality.
With that. So I'm okay.
I understand you are, and I'm trying to understand why.
I'm okay with them suffering to some degree. Now, I think we should do it in as humane a way as reasonably possible. And I think
would it be better to not do it at all if we could survive? If we could just not do it at all, and it didn't need to exist in this earth, all this suffering, all this death, we could still live to the same age. We could still enjoy our food.
Yes,
would it be a better world without it?
Sure. I agree with that. That's fine. But I don't think it will be, and it won't be.
Wow. I'm surprised he so readily conceded to that. At least they got the concession, acknowledging like this is perfect outcome, really. He acknowledged that his worldview leads to a contradiction, and he conceded that veganism is a morally superior position.
For me, and it won't be for all the people that are in this audience that have already tried vegan or have already done that, and it didn't work for them. There are countless number of people that have tried a vegan diet, and it didn't work for them. Now, you'll say, I mean, a lot of people say, well, they were never vegan. So I would ask you, James, if 20 years from now you give up veganism, does that mean you were never a vegan right now?
No, I would consider myself a vegan now, but if I was to give up veganism,
and that means you were never
that's
does that mean you never were vegan? Does that mean
it's a phrase that just doesn't really make sense to me? Like, I would give up believing that animals deserve rights. Why would I give that up?
I mean, you eat them anyway, but what if you had to eat them anyway for your health? I mean, like, because we're playing hypothetical, crazy space creature, alien eating them. If we're saying that, so because there are a lot of vegans that for whatever reason, it didn't work out for them. They just didn't feel good. They got sick and they had to. And many of these people in this room will verify that because they've done that. Incorporate animal products back in their diet for their own health reasons. And again, it's somewhere where you draw the line, right? So, I mean, and I hear a lot of people say, well, those people were never really vegan because they gave up their ethics. And so does that apply to everybody that doesn't die a vegan? Is that so? If you don't die a vegan, you were never vegan. Is that a fair statement? Oh, we just lost him.
Hang on, I'll be just 1 second. Just sorting the battery out. Should just be 2 seconds. Look, I think somebody who feels like they need to stop being vegan, I think they almost always, 99.99% of the time, could have found a way to be vegan and be perfectly healthy and sort their issues out without leading to...
Well, I would say always, not almost always.
Consuming flesh. That's my understanding of things. But the question specifically is, were they always vegan? You know, or were they never vegan? You know, most people... There's a lot of different types of vegans, I would say, Shawn, and some of them have thought more deeply about the topic than others by far. Some just have seen slaughter footage once, thought about it for the moment, started eating a plant-based diet, lived their life. Some people have really given this a lot of topic, like I would say myself, a lot of thought, like I would say myself, Nick, and people probably even more than both of us. And when you've got to the point where you really understand, I would say, and this is something that I'm trying to understand still through, I hope we have time to discuss a little bit more. When you really understand that they are similar beings, you're saying they're so different. They're a different species. They're different enough that it's fine to slaughter them. I have no problem slaughtering them. Slaughtering them is good with me.
Do you think your depression stems from being jealous of Jordan Peterson because of how Ben Shapiro is paying him millions to simp for Israel when you simp for Israel for $0 and 0 cents? It must be very frustrating to be dumb and poor as well.
Well, I'm hoping that simping for Israel will make George Soros give me money, so we'll see. Fingers crossed. Thanks for the donation, Anonymous.
I believe that if we had more time to talk about this and discuss this, or something like that, you gave it more consideration, or you were honest. I don't know if you're being honest. I'm just taking you at face value for what you're saying and assuming you are. Then I think you would come to a similar conclusion, because I think it's extremely logical to see these obviously similar beings with a heart and a brain, with a consciousness, sentience, an experience, an individual experience. They are so similar. So when they bleed and when they suffer and all these things that we would never do to Mexicans or to any other humans, I don't see how you're getting to the point of saying this is totally fine. And so if you were to say to me, in 20 years, if you weren't vegan anymore, were you ever vegan? Well, right now, I am vegan and I believe in animal rights. And in 20 years, the only way I could stop that belief of animal rights, like, it just can't happen, I don't believe, because it's like, what information could possibly come out that there's nothing.
Well, I mean, there's no information that's going to come out. There's always, an animal dying is it's sad, it's tragic, but it's done regularly. It's going to happen. I mean, ultimately, almost all animals are going to end up food for something at some point, whether it lives out a national life expectancy or it's bred into existence for that. We all have the same, but we're going to be eaten by worms and insects and microorganisms. We all turn into food at some point, right? We clearly know
this
that.
Just isn't a response.
The fact that changes is not that. The fact that changes is your own perception of your health is what changes. What's happened, if you look into this audience, almost all of them are older folks in there that have lived into their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And they found out that, wait a minute, what I was doing was not healthy for me. It was causing me pain and suffering. I don't want to do that. Now, as a physician, I've taken care of literally thousands upon thousands of people that have suffered tremendously. And it's not good to see that. Human suffering to me is more important than animal suffering. And I know people, maybe you're disturbed by that thought, but
no, I agree with you.
Okay, so I don't want to see humans.
Went vegan 'cause of you but wasn't convinced by NetHet. Have you considered a more efficient argument besides NetHet? When you deliver the reductio PPA, just shut their brains off and it's not the best optically. NetHet isn't bad but could use updating or modifying.
I don't know how you could possibly modify name the trait. It's not a modifiable argument. It's an argument from marginal cases, and I don't know how it looks optically bad for me when name the trait either leads to a concession, an admission of a contradiction, or a bullet-biting moment where they end up having to agree to killing, like, mentally disabled people. So how the fuck does it look optically bad for me? I don't think you understand what name the trait is. Everybody who either isn't convinced by name the trait or disagrees with, like, name the trait in some way, they don't understand the name the trait argument. There could possibly be better arguments for veganism depending on the individual. Like, I mean, it might be harder for somebody to internalize a vegan message if they hear name the trait versus if they, like, I don't know, watch a documentary or something. But I can't control people's sensibilities, and I can't look inside somebody's mind. So right now, name the trait seems to generally be the most effective argument, so I'm going to stick to that. Thanks for the donation, dear.
Suffer. Now, if in a fantasy world, everybody could eat chocolate cake, plant-based chocolate cake, and live to 100 and be healthy and robust, I'd be all behind that. But that's not the reality of the world, at least in my world, what I see. I see people that have tried various diets. I don't necessarily think carnivore is the best diet for every human on the planet. You'll never hear me advocating that all humans need to be carnivore. I don't think it's practical. I don't think it's possible. Just like I don't think everybody needs to be on a vegan diet. And I don't think it's practical or possible either. I mean, you're going to have to grow crops of any sort. You're going to need animals on the planet to protect the soil. So there's reasons for this stuff. And so we can all take different approaches. At the end of the day, and because we're running out of time here, I want humans to be healthy and happy and thriving. And I think the main problem is the fact that we eat, this Franken horrible processed garbage that everybody's consuming. I don't think it's the animal products, and I don't necessarily think it's the vegetables, but I think there's something in between that. And if we just realize that, hey, if we got healthy, happy humans that are more healthy, we're going to have a better planet. We're going to have a better relationship. We're going to be able to better to further improve life on this planet. But when we've got everybody that's sick, and you don't have to look around. I don't know where you're at. I know you're like, where are you at, James? You're in like somewhere in Thailand or something like that.
I'm in Brazil.
You're in Brazil now. Okay, well, cool. But I mean, if you look around, you can see we're not in a position where everybody's healthy. And the more sick people we have that are either physically sick, mentally sick, we have a worse society. And so we need people with good, strong health to solve these problems. And so that is what I'm trying to do, because every day, and I know you guys don't believe, but I see literally, I spent
using a vegan diet. Would you agree that would be a better choice? Assuming that we're correct that it would lead.
Like if we had no animal death and we could have equal health, sure, you'd sign me up for that. But that's not.
Okay, so you're just not convinced. Right? You're just not convinced that there's evidence.
Well, that's another good concession. He admitted that it would be better to fix your health on a vegan diet versus an animal-based diet.
To show that a vegan diet is sufficient.
No, I think there are some people that do very, very well on a vegan diet, but I don't think everybody does. And I know I wouldn't. And I know a lot of people that I.
Well, how do you? Okay, I'm more curious. Like, do you think that the evidence, in terms of like the quality evidence we've got out there, you're talking about, you've had these one-on-one experiences, you've spoken to hundreds, maybe even thousands of people, and would you suggest that the evidence out there supports your opinion that? Well, I don't know if you say that most people wouldn't do well on a vegan diet, but my opinion would be that most people will do well on an adequately planned vegan diet. And I think that the evidence supports that. So would you disagree with that?
Well, I mean, the evidence. So I guess the question is, why don't we have 90% universal adoption of veganism right now? If that were so healthy. And
well, I mean, look at smoking prevalence. Look at alcohol prevalence. Oh, if it was so bad, why does everybody do it? Like, that's just a terrible argument.
That's because I think that most humans, myself included, if we could end,
and Nick is just laughing at him,
all animal death, we would probably agree with that. But
Shawn,
the problem it doesn't happen because it happen. Because
people love eating meat, mate. They love hearing good things about their bad habits. They love the taste of flesh. We've all grown up with it. People find out why, because it's salty and fatty, and our mouths like that.
Why are we intrinsically programmed to like that then?
It wouldn't matter to me,
because it's ideal for survival, not health.
Even if we were,
why? But is there
it wouldn't matter to me.
Because this is just trivial.
It's trivial. At the end of the day, if we don't need it, like someone might say a similar thing. Oh, our canines. You have canines, and point to these tiny little pointy teeth. So we should eat meat. We're made to eat meat. I wouldn't care if my teeth don't dictate the actions I take in life, assuming that I can thrive and support myself on a plant-based diet, which for the last 10 years,
that's an assumption that not everybody else does. Guys, I apologize. This has been fun. I do have to go, unfortunately, guys. Thank you for being here. Nick, James, thanks for doing this. Maybe we'll pick up round 2 down the road. Unfortunately, I do have to go. Thanks everybody else for being here. You guys take care, and
Bro, that was just butt rape the whole time. Holy fuck. That was stupid as shit. That went better than I actually expected, because they got 3 pretty significant concessions from Shawn. So he admitted that his moral beliefs are self-contradictory. He admitted that veganism is a superior moral philosophy. And he admitted that it is ideal for somebody to fix their health on a vegan diet versus on an animal-based diet. So, to me, that sounds like an endorsement of, the idea, try improving your health on a vegan diet first, and then, if it doesn't work out, then maybe try some other diet. So, those are pretty good, powerful concessions. Shawn is not a smart man, but yeah, that, for the most part, went like I thought it would, but I was surprised that they got those concessions out of him. All right, I'm going to take a piss, and then we'll react to the WillyMac video. Hey, Jasmine. Might go to Isaac's at like 2 or 3 in the morning. Because he's making chicken. Okay.
Informing people on news. Hasan is the biggest left-leaning political streamer in the world. Informing people on news, wars.
Baying pig, you bloodthirsty, violent pig dog.
Court cases.
Psychopathic, bloodthirsty fantasies that they've all had.
And cultural debates.
You are just a trans person. Sorry, you don't know what the f you're talking about.
But he is not informed or consistent on any of it, making arguments as if he's some sort of military missiles expert.
Do you think that that is a misfire from a rocket? Because I've shown you the misfires from Hamas rockets. It does not look like that.
If someone shares a different opinion that he doesn't agree with, he calls them racist, transphobic, genocidal, whatever will discredit the critics so he doesn't have to actually engage with their argument.
You bad faith, apartheid defending, bloodthirsty, genocidal freak.
I can ride my bike with no handlebars, no handlebars.
I don't know why anyone would be surprised with Hasan. His entire life is a hypocrisy. He's a multi-millionaire socialist with a $200,000 car, living in a $3 million mansion. But remember, he only bought the car because he wanted his community to have fun. He didn't have—
Yeah, dude, fuck me. Isn't life so unfair that Hasan is so successful? Like, fuck me, dude.
actually want it.
Bro, this is why I do this stuff, okay? This is why I was like, I might not even buy this car in the end if it's like, you know, too much of a hassle. But like, I literally do this for that.
Yeah, he spent 150 grand on a car so Austin Ox can make a 30-second video.
No, literally, yeah, so we can all have fun.
That's
like,
how good he has it, baby.
So, no, I mean, I'm not even kidding, yeah, so my community can have fun. Like,
he bought it because he's really generous, guys. Remember, Hasan lives on a basic necessity budget.
They live on a basic necessity budget for the most part anyway, okay?
This guy wears outfits that cost more than most people's cars, but hey, basic necessity budget. I don't care if people are rich, it's their money, they earned it, spend it however you want. My problem is Hasan makes it sound like he does it for you. He is completely self-serving. He will actively advocate for the removal of copyright law because he steals content en masse. His business strategy is to stream for as long as possible. So oftentimes he has nothing to do but watch other people's content. He's not even there for a lot of it. When called out for this, it's not like he's honest and says he doesn't care. He twists his laziness into making it sound like he's doing everyone else a favor.
I think that as far as like rigorous control over IP, I personally don't have it. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's a good thing.
What do you mean you don't believe in it?
Yeah, the whole IP thing is kind of complicated. One of the reasons why a lot of these companies are really strict when enforcing copyright isn't because they want to be dicks or anything and they feel like they have some sort of entitlement or some shit. It's just because the way the law is written, if they don't protect their IP, other people can just use their IP, and then when they go to court over copyright and it's brought up that, okay, well, you let these people use your copyright protected content and you didn't do anything, clearly you don't care and you think this should be in the public domain. So like if Marvel didn't copyright strike people for, re-uploading the Avengers, they could actually lose the license and then lose out on millions and millions of dollars. And somebody else could end up taking the license. So it's kind of complicated. When it comes to like streamers though, I just haven't seen a compelling argument that they're harming anybody. Like that's the issue. But when it comes to certain copyright issues, you can prove harm.
Hello. In the media, in pop culture and even in progressive, enlightened polite society it is still widely acceptable to mock vegans. What do you think the vegan community needs to do to make real change? Seems futile.
I don't know, dude. That's a good question, but it's just going to take time for, veganism to become the cultural norm. There's not really much any one single individual can do. Thanks for the donation, Dempsey.
I don't understand what that means. You think that people should be able to steal your videos and upload it?
Yeah.
Of course he's not worried about protecting his own IP. It's worthless. Nobody wants to react to him. The channel that re-uploads his VOD struggles to break 2,000 views a video. The channels that do well are the ones ripping him reacting to other people's content, often unfairly.
So do not believe in IP personally, so much so that I've allowed everyone to literally do whatever the fuck they want with my IP. That's why there's like 1,000 different...
Which is not true. He's copyright claimed channels that make him look bad.
Different fucking Hasan fan channels out there, some of which have hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
Stealing Hasan's content is just stealing other people's content.
In a perfect world, I think that content...
Yeah, that's just a lie, dude. He's put copyright claims on people re-uploading his VODs when he looks stupid.
Sort would be heavily subsidized by government subsidies in the arts, in the field of art.
You would be subsidized?
Everyone.
This motherfucker acts like he's innovating on something. Yeah, Hasan, our tax dollars should go to you, bro. Electric cars and oil? No. Hasan sitting in his room watching MasterChef? Take my money. Hasan recently has admitted that he's broken boundaries when it comes to copyright, but he claims he's making efforts to be better.
I myself have absolutely been someone who has broken some of those boundaries, but I usually try to...
Which boundaries did you break?
One of the things is, I think you'll agree with this as well, is just like, don't leave the video running when you get up
100%.
to go pee.
Yeah, you can't
That's
do
like
that.
pretty basic.
He's never stopped doing this. He does it multiple times a stream.
I have to pee. I'll be back. Hold on, I gotta pee. I'm sorry.
National correspondent.
I gotta pee.
So in a way, go in the coal mines.
It's actually more typical for him to
Like, it only takes you 10 seconds to go piss. Why doesn't he just pause the video?
unpause the video when he leaves.
Very odd. I have to pee real bad.
Because they knew that if they were really going to sell this
broadcast. Hold on, I gotta pee real quick.
I have never seen Hasan not once pause the video when he goes to the bathroom. One time he almost thought about it, but he couldn't quite bring himself to do it.
I gotta pee again.
Time, you know, went from actually not supporting Trump to wanting Trump's endorsement really bad and getting able to win. And over this whole time, you kind of...
So I
It only takes 10 seconds. I literally just did it. Why in the fuck? Why in the fuck doesn't he just pause?
recognized that was wrong. I stopped doing that.
He's just lying to Ethan when he says this, and that's because he never wants to be seen as the bad guy. He will always frame himself as the righteous victim. You see, the real reason why his son steals other people's content is because he was just a poor boy growing up in Turkey.
If you want to understand why I have this opinion, look, I grew up in Turkey. We do not have access to movies when I was growing up that in a timely manner. We did not have access to video games when I was growing up in a timely manner. And the only way I was able to enjoy all of these video games when I was growing up in Turkey was cracked video games. There's a massive black market.
That has nothing to do with anything anyone's talking about. Hasan isn't redistributing YouTube videos to people who can't watch them. He's just restreaming them. And when his fans would challenge him on his React content, he'd ban them.
Making you react harder to your conversation than when the chair reacts to a video? Okay, take an hour off.
Classic.
Got some Skippy, rub it on my balls, smear it real good, feed it to the dog.
Hasan is a socialist, meaning he thinks employees should have direct control over company decisions, otherwise they might as well just be slaves.
And this process is so inherently undemocratic, which is why it's always weird when we fucking talk about, which is why it's so weird when we talk about like how much better we are than like, you know, older organizations. Oh man, we're so much better off than fucking living in a feudalist society. Like, come on, it's like.
Does he really think feudalism was better? Prove it. Run your stream like this. He doesn't because he knows it would slow down his business.
And you're supposed to sit there and go, yeah, you know what? This is actually appropriate. Because like, hey, guess what? I'm too stupid to make that decision for myself. I'm too stupid to make that decision for the entire company. We can't get together as an entire company and make this decision ourselves on where the profits should go. Where should we actually, should we invest it back into the business? Should we invest it back into a better compensation structure?
According to him, he doesn't even do the bare minimum when it comes to the people that work for him. Do mods and editors get a say on what Hasan gets to cover on stream that day? Does he profit share with them and provide benefits? No, they don't even get paid.
Are you paying, right, a percentage or something proportional to the millions that you're making off Twitch, right? Does that carry over to your Twitch? So sure, I believe you for your podcast.
To who? To what?
To editors, to moderators.
Yes.
So you're paying moderators or head of moderation?
No, not editors and not moderators.
So no one. You gotta love how you're just down to.
Oh god! Like how the fuck did he has to find a new editor like frequently. He must just reach out to people and be like, oh, this is a great opportunity to like get exposure for your editing gig, and just takes advantage of these fucking young kids who are trying to, you know, get a career in media. Like, what a fucking dipshit, dude. He can't even pay somebody like $50 to edit a fucking video for him?
The lie if Train didn't press him. He then brags about how he still paid the editor for his podcast, even when his podcast wasn't making money yet.
There are a lot of situations where a venture that you get into is not actually making money, right? And I think people are still generating some sort of value, even when they're not actually making money, because even when the business itself is not actually making money, because the business.
Yeah, jackass, you're supposed to pay people for the work they do. It doesn't matter if you're making money off of it. If you commission somebody for work, you should pay them, you fucking idiot.
Could potentially make money in the future.
He's acting like he's being generous. This is how every startup works. The owner still pays the employees even when the business isn't.
Somebody's saying Discord chat. Let me take a look. Nobody's in the Discord. What are you talking about?
Isn't profitable yet. Elon Musk with Tesla would be considered the biggest socialist in the world if that was the case. Here's the thing. Hasan is lying when he's saying he's taking a financial risk by starting this podcast. All he does is crowdfund the money from Patreon to pay his.
Whoa. What? Dude. $100,000 a month? For what? I am flabbergasted. Holy shit. How in the fuck does he make $100,000 a month just off of Patreon alone? What? What am I doing wrong? Do I have to be a retard? Should I have like brain dead fucking stupid fucking takes? Do I have to like, what do I have to do for this? Like, oh my god.
editor. Wow, this guy is so generous, he lets you pay for his employees. So between his free labor force, content theft, and his bare necessity budget, I fail to see how this guy practices what he preaches.
But it's really frustrating that, like, this is a fundamental thing I believe in, and I advocate for, and I practice what I fucking preach, and yet motherfuckers still always say...
Yeah, dude, this is baffling. He makes $100,000 a month off Patreon alone. So this guy's making $1 million a year off of just Patreon, and he can't even pay his fucking editors or moderators. This is crazy.
That I am actually fake.
It's cause you are. Hasan being a socialist is sort of like me being a Catholic. We both say we are those things, but in practice, those words don't carry any weight.
I did it my way.
Hasan is just bad at news, dude. There's no other way to put it. That guy will sit there and speak with absolute authority while the article he has open on stream is proving him wrong. Hasan would debate with a viewer over trans women competing in women's sports and breaking world records.
Please stop. You're not making any good arguments. No, the only reason why I'm not making any good arguments to you is because you are transphobic, and that's the unfortunate reality, and it's probably not going to change.
This guy didn't even say anything hateful. He just didn't agree with Hasan, so now he's transphobic.
Or they're literally breaking records after records, not just participating. Wrong! Wrong! You are wrong. You are making that up. You have read like 3 articles from like 3 random edge cases. You are wrong. Show me.
It's right there in front of you. Just read. When one of Hasan's trans fans would chime in and say that Hasan's doing a bad job arguing for trans people, Hasan can no longer just write them off as being transphobic. So instead, Hasan decides to be transphobic.
Here's the other part, like...
Is tar what the channel earns each month? Just on Patreon. Hamza must be jealous.
So Patreon's separate from his YouTube channel. It's a separate platform, but yeah, he's making $100,000 a month off Patreon alone. I'm sure Hamza would be jealous. I'm jealous. Like, again, what am I doing wrong? It's just insane to me that somebody this dumb, this vapid, just with such a horrible personality is making this kind of money. Like, what the fuck? What is going on, dude?
You, for the record, my issue as a trans person is the fact that you, a guy that isn't super well versed on trans, brought on a known transphobe knowing he might bring up trans.
Dude, it can't be trans fans. Like, it can't. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
You aren't exactly a Vosh at trans debates. I hope that the rest of your life is as horrible as it is every single day, okay? There you go. Suck my dick. I despise you. I despise you more than anything else on the planet. You are fucking cancer, okay? You are cancer in this community, and you're cancer in every community. Suck my dick. For the past 15 months, you've been able to fucking hide in these ranks. You catboy fuck. Move your catboy ass out of here. You are never welcome. You are never going to be unbanned. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how much you want to get unbanned, I will never unban you. You are now banished into the fucking shadow realm, okay?
This is actually the closest trait Hasan has to being a socialist. If you disagree with him in any way, he will publicly demonize you and then execute you live on stream.
I don't like you. I'm going to make this very clear. If you are this type of person, I don't like you. I don't want you to be in here, okay? Or if you're going to be in here, you need to fucking know your place. You need to know your place. Your place is this, okay? It's not this, it's this. You can stay in here and watch, but you're not going to be able to fucking write in the chat.
All this person did was say that he was bad at arguing for trans people, which he is. He can't even be bothered to read. When the Kyle Rittenhouse trial was going on, Hasan would ignore all the evidence being presented in the case and just write off everyone as bloodthirsty murderers.
Imagine risking your...
Yeah. U.S. base.
Reporting continues when Iran would fire a missile at a U.S. base. Breaking news. But somehow, Hasan already knows it's an inside job. It's the CIA. He's going to speak with absolute authority while having no source.
Wait, what? Attack on U.S.
Can you see his channel metrics?
No, you can't see his channel analytics. Unless you go to... Let me see. What's the fucking thing? Hasanabi. YouTube analytics. Social Blade. Yeah, there's no analytics available. Oh wait, that's not the right one. Yeah, that's... Why is that not fucking coming up? Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure where to find his channel analytics. But he's primarily on Twitch. He has to be making... Like what? Probably 200-300 grand a month off Twitch. It's ridiculous, dude. I don't understand. Why does anybody watch him? Like again, just what am I doing fucking wrong? I don't get it.
This consulate in Iran happening now, false flag. 100%. MEK false flag. MEK actors, 0% chance that is so fucking sussy. Oh no. Oh, that's what's going on in Iraq, the American base that was under attack? No fucking shot. When I say MEK, I just mean CIA. I said MEK, but I mean CIA. Rumors saying the missiles were launched from Iran. I mean, dog. Come on, bro. Like,
yeah, I've seen this shit before. Stupid.
It was wrong.
It's always wrong.
I'm gonna skip some of this stuff. Yeah, I've seen his Israel-Palestine crap.
Hasan is incredibly manipulative when it comes to information he's willing to share on stream. On October 7th, when Hamas invaded Israel, brutally targeting civilians, it put the conflict front and center for the Leftovers podcast. Ethan is Jewish and has lived in Israel for years. His wife is Israeli and served in the military, but he remains sympathetic towards the Palestinian plight.
Here's what I'll say about Israel, okay? Listen, this isn't the first time I've said it, and I'll say it many more times. The cabinet is run by genocidal maniacs, okay? They're led by Netanyahu, who should resign in disgrace and go to prison for being a war criminal, okay? He's made a coalition of the most like radically conservative freaks that don't represent, by the way, the majority of Israelis.
Even crying at one point when relating to a father who lost his child.
As a father, it's even hard to talk about. This dude was holding his infant. It was like a year old. And he was like patting her on the back and saying like his final goodbye. I mean, he's holding her like she's alive, like he's
defying any of the brutality.
Hasan's audience has to be 15-year-old kids who sit at home and play Fortnite all day. There's no way any rational human being could actually think his points are rational at all. He even makes his uncle Jenkuga look like Aristotle. That's how dumb he is.
He is monstrously stupid. Like, I don't know. Is his audience mostly 15-year-olds? Like, he's like a political streamer. So I don't know. None of it makes sense to me. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around how he could make that much money. Thanks for the donation, though, Kid Boo.
In the war.
I don't understand the water and power and food being shut off. Like, that makes no fucking sense. What's the end goal there other than just to let people die? Like, hospitals don't have...
Yeah, you're giving... So, some of his takes on this are just stupid. There's no obligation to give Hamas resources.
I will assume he has hired the right people to make sure his financial obligations are handled properly. Maybe Frank has some hidden supporters that have him rolling in the clover.
No. I don't think Frank has any big donators or anything. If he did, there's no way he'd be as miserable as he is. Like, constantly complaining about money. So, I don't know. Thanks for the donation, though, James.
enough power. Respirators are turning off.
But when the conversation shifts to criticizing people celebrating terrorist attacks on Israeli citizens, Hasan always seems to justify it, throwing in a but.
As the bodies are fucking still bleeding out, and he's saying this is what liberation struggle looks like: beheading babies, burning families alive, solidarity and victory to the Palestinian people. This is pro-Hamas. This man is supporting Hamas.
I think his position is that people that have been trapped.
At one point, Ethan talks about how babies were burned, and Hasan was like, well, stuff like this has been faked in the past.
Yeah, Hasan has had the most ridiculous pro-Hamas takes. It's fucking disgusting. Authoritarian, let's see.
What's funny is Hasan is not this critical with countries outside of the West. Hasan loves China because they challenge the United States' sphere of influence.
I don't agree with the U.S., but by talking
Oh yeah, he's a massive tanky. Just gonna skip through some of this.
A toast to the bad guy with bad bitches, the bad times will pass.
Brother, are you beheaded? Have you lost your fucking mind? There has never been a moment where I have sat here and justified this. Are you schizophrenic, or did your head get cut off? Because you sure sound brainless when you come in here and shadowbox. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Apartheid is always imperfect.
What the hell are we doing?
The N-word.
Forget that, okay?
Out.
I thought all you chuds wanted equality. What the fuck happened?
Alright, well, this video is pretty shit and boring for the most part. Yeah, it's nothing new.
Earlier this...
Like, literally nothing new. So whatever.
You skipped the part when Hasan was fake crying because Ethan was crying, lol.
Whatever. Ugh. Ugh. Thanks for the donation, Dutchy.
Hi, I'm Brad, and I'm excited. Are you excited? You better be excited. Recently, there's been some interesting reports coming out from overseas journalist companies who interviewed someone from Qualcomm, or as I like to call them, Qualcomm, and they said that there's a new XR chip coming out in the first quarter of 2024. Please see the XR1 series 4 nanometer node, which TSMC
I am personally starting to get sick of listening to...
Maybe you should look at Frankie's TR analytics. Who knows what may be hiding there?
Nothing. He gets no views. He doesn't make jack shit on YouTube. Frank Tefano, Social Blade. Yeah, he gets no views, dude. So views for the last month were 175,000. I'm surprised it's even that high. That has to be, yeah, that has to be off. There's no way. There's no way he's getting in the 250,000 view range. That has to be a mistake. And it looks like he's not gaining subs. So yeah. Thanks for the donation, James. Yeah, I'm getting sick of listening to all these fucking clown takes on Israel-Palestine. It's like literally hurting my brain.
The lower the deuterium.
Let's see.
A new study finds that sauna therapy may improve skeletal muscle hypertrophy and skeletal muscle development, in addition to also supporting immune system function. We're going to talk about this recently published clinical trial.
You deserve grands per month, VG, 100 of those. Should I ever truly make it, I will definitely share my money with you, for your FYI. Anyways, here's $3 fucking.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for the donation, Vegan Demon Mama. Ugh, my elbow is so fucked up. Oh man. My head just hurts thinking about anything.